But Winnie the Pooh has been in my life since I was probably 4 years old.
That's interesting because I don't really remember having a big experience with Winnie the Pooh. It was always Franklin
Oh,
and
Franklin for
Arthur.
sure for me.
Yeah.
Where's Franklin? Coming up? There's a TikTok thing going around about Beyonce's new country song.
Texas Hold'em, yeah.
But somebody remixed it with Franklin because it's the same exact chord progression.
I don't know for sure, but I think there might be a lawsuit going on.
Yeah, so there's something going on there. But I loved Franklin, Little Bear,
Little
Arthur.
Bear.
Yes, all those kinds of cartoons.
And I remember seeing one of the movies from the early 2000s, but I don't remember being really, really into it. I don't even remember reading the book. But funny enough, 2 weeks ago, Bree found an old copy of The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh at a thrift store. And we picked it up. And then you said, hey, let's do the podcast on Christopher Robin. I'm like, perfect timing. I didn't get to read it, but I started reading it when we were in the store.
Yeah.
And it was, chapter 1 was Pooh trying to get up into the tree with the bread balloon.
Yes.
And then being attacked by the bees, which is...
That was the first movie. Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree.
Yes. And
1977.
You know everything about this.
I looked it up. I had to make sure I knew my stuff, you know?
And that was the intro essentially into the movie as well. They had the small animations at the beginning, and it was...
I love when they do that, and they do it in all the movies where they start it with the book art.
Yes.
I love
so
it.
Good. It's beautiful. And that kind of goes into how the rest of the movie is just stunning.
Yes.
Oh.
They actually put out brand new copies, hardcover, beautiful copies of the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. It's like a book set. Ooh. You could get it at Indigo. I think it was like $80 for like these beautiful. There's like 6 books. I wanted it so bad. I think I might have to pick it up just to have it on the shelf.
Yeah,
because it's the exact same style as the old on the inside. It's the same old drawings, the same text, the same, but the outside is beautifully new hardcover, all different shades of color. Like the darker tone reds and the greens.
I love it.
It was a beautiful set. And then my early interaction with Winnie the Pooh, I had a lot of the books. Like, you know, back in the day, they had those big square books with like the President's Choice kind of like kids on the side. The
little gold books?
Yes, the little gold books. I had a bunch of those. And my mom always bought me the VHSs of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
I think my first viewing might have been when Tigger Meets Pooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Which we'll get into in the movie. Because I've watched it so much growing up, all the references in this movie just makes my heart so full.
Yeah.
When he does the up down, he does his morning stretches. Up,
yes.
Down, touch the ground, puts me in the mood for food. And he does all that, and he's all full. But then, so that starts that. But then he hears Tigger, like there's a thunderstorm going on, and then Tigger comes in. And he does the classic, like the growl.
Yes, yeah.
And he's on top of him, and he's like, oh, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Pooh." He's like, "Well, what's a Pooh?" So that whole thing, that it was like a 20. All the Winnie the Poohs are like 20 minutes. The Many Adventures, they're like a mini short film.
Yeah.
Aside from the feature length films, like the Tigger movie. The Tigger movie is another one of those animated classics that's just going to make you cry every time.
Guaranteed.
I saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters at Silver City in Windsor. And anytime Winnie the Pooh came out, I don't think I saw the 2011 one. We own the 2011 one. I've seen it now, but I don't think I saw it in theaters.
Yeah. Because
at that point I was just a teenager, and I just like what we'll get into in the movie. Exactly. I forgot who, you know, it's the whole message. It's beautiful. But yeah, my whole childhood, I had the stuffed animals. Pooh was always around, because then as I grew up a little bit, my sister was younger than me. She was 3 years younger than me. So then she was getting into Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
And then one of her birthdays, I think it was like her 19th or something, or 20th, I got her, Disney put out the reimagining stuffed animals, like what Winnie the Pooh looked like as his old self in the book.
Yeah.
So I got her that stuffed animal.
That's cool.
I should have bought one for myself, because they're so hard to find now. And like they keep putting new ones out, but they're not the quality isn't what I want it to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the way I want it to be. Sometimes they're a little off. But then the ones from this movie you could buy. And I want the Winnie the Pooh so bad, because his arms can move. Like you can sit him or stand him up. Like he has joints like he does in the movie.
Cool.
but he's like $120.
Of course he is. Oh yeah.
But somebody's selling the full set. They have the full set of Kangaroo, Piglet, Eeyore, Tigger, Pooh. It was like $600. I'm like, is that worth it? 100% it is. 100% it is. But man, Winnie the Pooh, like people have Paddington Bear. Paddington Bear is a relatively, I'm not sure if it's a book. Is it a book? Or is it just like a movie?
I don't really know.
I don't really know. Adria is a Paddington Bear lover.
Yeah.
And I watched Paddington Bear for the first time like a month or two ago. The first one is amazing. The second one's still good. Some people say it's better, but I disagree. I think the first one's better. But Winnie the Pooh is my bear.
I get it.
He's my bear. And Winnie the Pooh, all the characters, but Pooh in general, there's something about watching him that makes you just feel so full of life.
Yeah. I think it's part of it for me watching this movie was the simplicity of the characters' messages. Pooh keeps it simple, and that's what I love about it. And I think that as an adult now, that's what we need sometimes. Everything's so busy, and that's the whole sentiment of the movie. Like, you're too busy to be a kid again, and Pooh and everybody else is just like, why? Like, they bring it down to life isn't really that complicated all the time, especially if we don't make it. And I thought that was very refreshing.
Yes. So I just want to state that I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah.
And when my friends know how I feel, everybody who I love knows how I feel. I wear my heart on my sleeve is what they say.
Yeah.
And I've seen this movie 3 times. And the first time I watched it in the theater, I was a wreck.
Yeah.
And the second I watched it a couple days ago, I watched it 2 days ago. The minute it started and I saw Winnie the Pooh, I was ready to cry.
Yeah. You felt it.
I felt it.
Yeah.
Not because I know what the journey this movie is going to take me on. It's just the feeling you get seeing those friends around the table.
Yeah.
And the feeling you get when he speaks.
Right.
You feel so safe.
Yep.
You feel like nothing matters in the world other than being where you are at the moment. You feel at ease. You feel like his saying is his favorite day is today. He doesn't worry about tomorrow. And he's like, another one is people say nothing is impossible, but I do nothing every day.
It's so
and
good.
Then sometimes doing nothing leads to the very best of something. His statements are so, because he's a bear of very little brain. Right. But his statements are beautiful.
Oh yeah. They're actually
they're well thought out for what his ironicness of him having no brain.
Exactly.
But they're so simple, which makes them hit so hard.
Exactly. And that was, so for me, over the last couple of years, I was getting into like Peanuts. So Charlie Brown, Snoopy, all that kind of stuff. And that's what really brought me into those characters, was the simplicity of it. The stories in the comics, they're all relatively funny, but simple. And when you can distill a thought simply, everybody or more people than none can relate to it. And I think that's the magic of Pooh, Charlie Brown, all that kind of stuff. And you just want to relate to it.
Yeah.
You just want, like, yes, I'm going to apply that to today.
1,000%.